Probably within a month of starting the YouTube channel, I had a dream about a first aid kit, and I thought, the Drywall Doctor first aid kit, that's incredible. So everything you need to repair this stuff is in this kit. So, angles, I'm going to flip it around just a little bit more.
Hey, I don't have an angle on an angle.
I'm going to talk about angles. You have a big cracked angle. No, I don't have a big cracked angle, but what I do have is a Sharpie again, and we have a crack in the angle. If you just have a crack right there in the angle, just get some caulk, just get some paintable caulk, and make sure it's paintable. It has to say, this one says paintable in 30 minutes. Make sure it's a paintable caulk, right? And I could just caulk this if I needed to. But if it's damaged and the paper's loose and you've got all of this paper that's kind of sticking out on the sides, now you have to cut out all of the loose stuff. Anything that's loose in that angle, you have to remove it. I'm going to show you, I'm going to tape this right here. Now, granted, if it's a big long angle, you don't have enough material in here to do that. It's just for repairs. Small, big gaps, cracks, things like that you might have. Okay, this little clip is going to be on every single video, because just because you bought the first aid kit doesn't mean you're going to have everything that you need. You need these things too. I can't say you're going to need them, but you might need them. So make sure that they're on hand, before you get started. And what you might need a screw gun, okay? For that corner bead especially, you are going to need either a screw gun, or you're going to need a hammer, some screws, and a screwdriver. For the corner bead especially, you're also going to need tin snips. So those are things that you will definitely need. You might not need the hammers, okay, if you have a screw gun, but if you don't have a screw gun, you're going to want a hammer, screws, and stuff like this. You might need a razor knife. I don't know if you do or not, but you might. You might need some caulk. You might need some tape to mask things off. You're going to need something to clean up with, and a bucket of clean water. So you always have a bucket of clean water on hand. It's got to be cool too, guys. It cannot be warm water. It has to be cool. And then also, do not ever pour that water down a drain, a sink, something like that. You can throw it out in the yard. It's not going to hurt the grass or anything. A lot of times, if it's not too bad, if it doesn't have big chunks in it and stuff like that, but this stuff here, if you have big chunks, you throw it in the garbage. Let it hard off to the side, throw it in the garbage. But if the stuff's not too bad, I will flush it down the toilet and flush the toilet while I'm flushing it down the toilet. Other than that, it always gets thrown outside. Always find a place outside to throw the dirty water. Don't try to put it down a drain. You will clog those drains. You will. So don't do that. So let's get started. So we have the angle here. Again, mix up the mud. In the first aid kit, you have 4 feet . 4 feet of paper tape, and you crease it, cut it the size of the angle, right? That's all you have to do is crease it and cut it to the size of the angle. Now, if you pulled out the paper and stuff, you're going to see a little line in here where the paper used to be. Oh, that's awesome. If you can just put it right back to where it was. I taped this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to mud up this angle with the mud that I made. I'm going to mud the angle in. I'm going to put the tape in place, right? I'm going to make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to wipe it down. I am going to mud up one side only, not the other side. Just the one side. I'm going to feather it in. But what I'm going to do on this side, is I'm going to pull that out a little bit this way and this way. Walk away. We coated one side of the angle. Well, now we're going to coat the other side of the angle because this side's all done. Now what we need to do is we need to coat this side. You've got to make sure it's set up before you do that. Otherwise, you're just going to gouge it out. So, all right, that's it. That's all you're going to do. All right, so what happened with me is I went to go coat this in and it wasn't set up. Really make sure it's set up good before you try to coat in the other side. And I tore up the one side. So I'm going to have to coat this again right now. But once you coat the one side, make sure it's all set up before you coat the other side. And I thought it was, and I went in there and I gouged it out. I should not have done it. Should have let it dry a little bit more. I like to just run over it very lightly, if I can, with a sanding sponge. I'm not sanding it per se. I'm just knocking it off a little bit. So, now I'm going to actually coat both sides. It's set up pretty good now. I'm going to coat both sides. But like I said, coat one side, let it set, and then coat the other side. There you have it, you guys. This is pretty much, this is done. All I have to do is sand this. All I have to do is sand this now. And if I did it right, and I coated one side and it's set up completely, and then I coated the other side, and it sets up completely, then it's pretty much ready to sand. One coat on each side. Should be good. You'll know that what I've done is I just cut some sanding sponges in half and stuck them in the first aid kit because it's what I have. If they become popular, I will probably get you a full sanding sponge in there, but it won't be a big one. Again, you don't need much. You don't need much at all. But this stuff will sand. This is not Durabond. It's a lightweight setting up compound. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that the inside of the angle is clean and these edges are gone. I have no edges on the outside. And these little sanding sponges will work. So now that I have that done, I'm going to paint. I don't have to worry about matching the paint in here because this is the paint that I did this room with a while ago. So this will definitely work. And you just want to float it in a little bit, you know what I mean? I normally don't like to do angles. I like to put paint in the angle, let it set up and roll to it, or roll the angle or roll the walls and then coat the angles in later. But you just want to make sure that you feather it out, otherwise you're definitely going to have a line here. Okay, that's done. So start to finish. Hey, if you really like the videos, subscribe. And if you really, really like the videos, please just share them with somebody else. All right, you guys have a great day.